What's going on from the Superbook.com sports desk? Just a hair under 1 o'clock. I'm Robert Walsh. Ricky Steinhaus Jr. won the Daytona 500. He won the race in double overtime and under caution. The two overtimes pushed the race to a record 212 laps, a dozen laps beyond the scheduled distance, and a total of 530 miles. In the NHL, the Wild defeated the Predators 4-3 on Sunday in Minnesota. The Preds split their games over the weekend, defeating Florida 7-3 on Saturday. In the NBA, Team Giannis took down Team LeBron. It's LeBron's first All-Star game loss in his history at the event. Giannis' team won 184-175. Jason Tatum scored an All-Star game record 55 points and won the game's MVP. In college baseball, started over the weekend, Vanderbilt routed Texas 12-2 to take two of the three over the weekend at the College Baseball Showdown in Arlington, Texas. The number 2 Vols took down UC San Diego 7-0, getting their first win of the season after dropping their first 2 games. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Good afternoon and welcome in Blaine and Mickey on 104.5 The Zone. I am obviously not Mickey Ryan, Joe Hunk, but he is Blaine Bishop sitting over there directly beside me. Two people that have literally only talked to each other in passing for our entire life here.
Yeah. Well, you know what? No, this is actually Mickey talking, but this is the Chat GBT of Joe Hunk, and his voice is mocking Mickey. That's what it was. Mickey's mocking Joe Hunk.
Yeah, Joe Hunk is not even here yet. He's still somewhere on 65 driving in. He's around Columbia right now. And he's hanging out. And somewhere Mickey in real life is hanging out celebrating his favorite president.
Oh, I bet he is. That's something. There go the streaming now. We all know Joe is alive and his mohawk is kicking.
Yes,
live like always.
I actually had to fix my hair today. I wasn't going to.
Well, you knew you were going to be on TV,
did,
right?
Because my first thought is everybody's like, oh, it's Blaine and Mickey. And I was like, oh, man, I get to hang out with the Hitman today. I was like, Hawk and the Hitman. That is the show. Then I went, wait, I've got to have the Hawk to be Hawk and the Hitman. Oh, so I had to keep the Hawk on.
I like that. Hawk and the Hitman.
See?
Yeah.
It's all rolling.
Just temporarily, we can say on the Hawk and Hitman show today. Yeah, we can. Yeah, it's temporary, except, Blaine and Mickey will be back tomorrow.
That's right. That is right. 615-737-1045 gets you in on Blaine and Mickey today. It is Ding Dong of the Week is going to be coming up here in just a little bit. We've discussed many of those before the show started.
I always come up a little short.
It's what? It's okay.
Yeah, that's what she said.
As long as you no. I can't
do that, man.
No.
Too soon. No. On the Hawk.
Look, you can put
show. Too soon.
You can put your ding dong on the table. You just can't come up short. That's it.
Okay.
That's the only requirement.
Just like the Super Bowl.
Just it. You just can't come up short. That's all we're requesting. You had a ton of stuff going on. In fact, matter of fact, you tweeted out earlier today at BBishop23. What did you watch this weekend?
Oh, man.
With the NFL season done?
Oh, it was so depressing.
It was. It seriously was.
I got a little jolt there. You watch the UT game in basketball. Then the XFL, I forgot it was even on. And everybody's texting, hey, man, you watch the XFL? No, but let me turn it. Let me turn it to it. Then I'm up there doing 50 billion other things while it's on. So, yeah, it was good to see football. And actually, it was I saw Beasley. I was like, Beasley, is that the same Beasley? It was with the Titans?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, my God.
Kind of with the Titans.
So kind of. So he was with there for a half a season, right?
Yeah, he was.
But he stole some money there,
He had a jersey, I think. I don't know if it ever got worn, but he had a jersey.
A lot of money there.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, my. So, dang. So maybe he is passionate about playing football. If you're playing the XFL, he's trying to get back in.
Yeah.
So for what it's worth, maybe he just had a little downturn there, and it's going to make a comeback.
Oh, well, and that was where you were talking about in your Twitter poll question. You asked, which of these did you watch? NBA All-Star Weekend, the Daytona 500, the XFL, or the SEC in basketball / watching the Preds? Is it sad?
And I forgot to put golf on there, too. Oh, my gosh. I actually watched the golf. How can oh my? Then people just say, oh, Genesis invitation. Oh.
I forgot that one.
Yeah, I forgot that. I was trying to squeeze them all in there. You only get 4 options.
What's bad? I didn't know 2 of these 4 of your options were even happening this weekend. I didn't. I didn't know the XFL was going.
I did not either, though, to be honest.
I know you did because you've
I
already admitted it.
Like,
I also didn't know NBA All-Star Weekend was happening this weekend.
oh, yeah.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, I always want to watch the 3-point in the dunk contest. I always feel like, dang, I wish I could shoot and jump like that. But, yeah. That was actually, the McClung, the dunk contest was awesome. I really was excited about that. Actually, affiliation really to this Tennessee area. He's from Kingsport, Mac McClung. So I didn't even know that. I thought he was from Virginia, but I used to ride across the border there. And then, some people were saying he saved the slam dunk contest.
And he wasn't even in the NBA 2 weeks ago.
Well, he hadn't even played in the game, has he?
No, he's
just
on
on
like
the
a
roster,
10-day
right?
contract or a 2-way
76ers.
contract. Yeah, which is the way the NBA and G League work. Like you have these 2-way contracts that you can go back and forth from the G League to the NBA, and the man wasn't even really on a deal. Like he's there representing the 76ers. He has a 2-way deal, but he's not even really like on a team. Like,
It doesn't matter. He right now he's must watch. If he got any skills like he can hops, hey, I gotta believe at 6'2". He's got some mad skills. I even went and looked some videos up from college, so he can put it down. He's been to a couple of schools, Georgetown and Texas Tech, if I can recall. So he can play. He's a 6'2" guy that can really shoot the lights out. He's kind of a score guy, so it's kind of one of those guys where maybe you come off the bench and put up some points. Right situation, man, I think he'll be great. Now he's got some attention. Hopefully that'll benefit him, man. Seemed like a real humble guy. I was cheering him on the whole way. Had no idea really who he was going into it. Reggie Miller picked him slam dunk, when they were, warming up and everything. So I said, I'm going to really pay attention to this guy. Hung out with Reggie a couple times there in Indiana. So, yeah, I know he knows ball, especially, 3-point shooting, but even dunking since he wasn't a high flyer. So I was like, okay, let's see what's up. And boy, did he not let down. It was pretty awesome, some of those dunks, man. It might have been one of the best ones for me in a long time, man, since maybe Zach LaVine and crew or so. It's been a minute.
Well, and it's very hard to you can only do so many dunks.
Right.
Like you really only can.
Because those are duplicate dunks I've seen before, but still the fact that he's 6'2" and was doing them was pretty cool.
Well, and that's the same way with the home run derby. Like the only reason people watch the home run derby a lot of times, it's not because you're hitting home runs. It's because you're playing in a different venue and you kind of just want to see where the ball's going to go. Like Shohei Ohtani, it was last year when 2021, when the home run derby was in Colorado. It wasn't the fact that he was in Colorado. It's the fact that he put one up on the third deck at a bar where some dude was just sitting there drinking. Right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's why you watch the home run derby. The slam dunk contest is kind of similar. Like you can only see so many dunks. Like unless these guys are doing front flips and back flips trying to slam dunk, then there's not very many new innovations that you can do at the dunk contest. Right. So those are where it's a little bit unique. And through all of that, then you also have Vanderbilt. By the way, for anybody that's listening, I did just say Vanderbilt.
Whoa, that's a bad word in here, man.
Apparently it is.
No, man, I always cheer for Vanderbilt, man. Just to see what they've done with their team, man. It's pretty cool with Stackhouse and crew. But go ahead, yeah.
Fifth win in a row. Tied for the longest in the SEC right now with Texas A&M.
Dare I say they're going to make the tournament? I mean, I was looking at the standings in the SEC. I was like, wait a minute now. Nobody's even mentioning them. So if they don't, that might be the cutoff on how many teams make it from the SEC. I know we still have the SEC tournament. We got some more games left, here. But, man, they are on a run. They're hot right now, and they're believing. And that's tough to beat, man. So, I'm always a fan cheering for Vanderbilt to get off the snide, especially in basketball. Yeah, right, they've always been pretty good in basketball, at least over the years I've been here since '97.
They are sitting at 6th place right now, directly behind Auburn, which is a team that they beat on Saturday. But Auburn has a better overall record.
But what about in conference?
In conference, they're both 8-6.
Yeah,
they're both 8-6, sitting right there. Alabama's number 1, A&M is 2. Tennessee with their loss to Kentucky, which
dare I mention? Or did they play? No,
they didn't in the first half.
I watched it. I was like, why did they start off so slow?
Because they made one 3-pointer. I think it was 1 of 12 from 3-point line in the first half. 1 of 12.
They swept Tennessee this season. I mean, I may end up playing them in the tournament, SEC tournament, so that'll be interesting. But they hadn't been swept, UT, since 2011-12 season. Yee.
That's not pretty.
And by the way, I loved back in the day Lofton and all, and he's from, the Kentucky area. He was at both games. Do not show up anymore.
Is he like the Peyton Manning of basketball, where people didn't want Peyton showing up to certain games?
Yeah, we can't show up. I'm gonna put him on the low level ding dong. Just don't show up. And then it was his jersey retirement too. Then they lost. I'm like, dang man, they can't do this guy any favors.
You couldn't help him on that one. He had to be there for that one.
Yeah,
his jersey's going up. He's got to be that one. The one at Rupp.
But dang, come on, man.
Little different.
Help a brother out, man.
Yeah, Tennessee right now sitting at the 3 spot. Them and Kentucky both at 9-5 in conference. Then Auburn is at 8-6, and so is Vanderbilt sitting there at 8-6. Vandy has LSU coming up on Wednesday night. LSU, the worst team in the SEC.
Well, but they have some length. They play them at LSU, don't they?
They do.
Yeah, because I remember watching that game at Vandy earlier in the season. Ooh, that's going to be interesting. Hopefully they'll be ready to go on vacay.
Yeah. Again, that game is going to be at 6 o'clock on the SEC network, but see, here's the kicker. I just said Vanderbilt is tied with Texas A&M for the longest winning streak in the SEC currently at 5. A&M and Tennessee play each other tomorrow. So Tennessee can actually help Vanderbilt have the best record or best win streak in the SEC if Tennessee can beat Texas A&M.
Ooh.
See, got to help you. Got to help your foes on that one. If that's going to be the case.
Right?
Yep. Right now, Tennessee and Texas A&M have the same record out of total 20-7. Tennessee sitting at 9-5 in conference. Texas A&M 12-2. Texas A&M's looking like they're most likely going to be the 1 or 2 seed.
Make your guess. How many SEC teams make it to the tournament?
I'm going to say 5. I'm going to say 5. Just because I know Alabama, I know A&M, I know Tennessee. Auburn's out of conference, and their RPI and stuff is good enough that right now they're looking at about an 8 or a 9 seed. That's going to be one. And you can most likely argue for Missouri or Arkansas as well.
Oh.
But
you didn't say Vandy.
I did say Vandy. I did it. And the reason is because they're 15-12 right now.
Oh.
They're 15-12. Now,
can't put them in,
because a lot of times the magic number is 20.
Yeah.
You got to get to 20. And once you get to 20, then you're actually considered. Right now, Vanderbilt's most likely going to be an NIT team.
How many games are left in the SEC?
I want to say they have 4 games remaining after this one because they have LSU. They still have to play Mississippi State. They still have to play Florida. And I think there's one more that they have. But they have 4 more games at least left before the SEC tournament starts here in Nashville.
I don't know. I think the SEC may only get 4 in. I don't know who's going to be that final spot. I think they're going to X each other out, and it's going to be disappointing.
All right, well, look, it is now time. Throw your ding-dong on the table. This is what we're saying, all right? Ding-dong of the week. When we come back, 615-737-1045. Blaine and Mickey, 1045 The Zone.
Is it already that time of year again? We're making resolutions we hopefully can keep. Thanks to the folks at Cool Ray, they make taking care of your home's resolutions easy. Maybe it's to keep the heat on, and that's a pretty important goal. And Cool Ray will help you take care of that with a $49 winter tune-up. And much like the holiday treats have us needing to get back in shape, maybe your home's heating system needs a complete revamp too. That's no problem either. Cool Ray's entering the new year stocked up and ready with furnaces on hand, ready for next day installation. Plus, they still boast the lifetime parts and labor warranty on any new Carrier home comfort system, including $0 in repair costs for the life of your system. If your home truly is good to go, Cool Ray is even looking out for your personal resolutions too. So browse the coolray.com/careers page and kickstart your career with their industry-leading benefits and work-life balance. Spots are open for HVAC, service technicians, installers, plumbers, and electricians. So schedule your next visit or browse career opportunities at coolray.com. No phone call, no wait, no worries. You pick the date and time that works for you. That's coolray.com.
Blaine and Mickey on 104.5 The Zone. Blaine Bishop is here. Mickey celebrating his favorite presidents. Out today. You can get in at 615-737-1045 and tell us about your ding-dong of the week. During the break, I was explaining to Blaine about my weird fandom, because when somebody asks me who I'm a fan of and I say Auburn and Tennessee.
Yeah, that was his natural reaction. Auburn, I said, how are you a fan of two teams in the same conference?
It is somewhere right now. Ron Slay is driving in, and he
just ran off the road. That's what he did.
He's yelling at the radio because he goes at me for this the whole time, saying it's okay to be a fan of two teams. They just can't be in the same conference.
Right, exactly. So what do you do on game day when they're playing each other?
Oh, if they're playing each other, it's going to be
who are you cheering for?
Solely based on who needs to win more. That's all. That's how I'd go with it.
What?
Who needs to win more?
Who needs to win
Who
more?
needs to win more?
This, Robert? I'm confused.
That's like me saying, you know what? I really like the Ravens, but I also have a soft spot in my heart for the Steelers. You know, I just love the Steel Curtain. I love Ben Roethlisberger.
And whoever needs to win more, I'm going to cheer for them.
I don't get it. What if it was head-to-head, winner goes to the national
Goes
championship?
home. Right.
Yeah. Who needs to win
Winner,
more?
winner goes to that championship. Loser goes home.
I just hope they have fun.
Come on. I don't have a favorite kid.
No, look. No, okay. See, here's the perfect example.
Please, people, no, we're going to make this a topic. This is more important than anything else right here. This is outrageous. Anybody else got two conflicting?
Yes.
I know some people like, wife, husband, or, just like that, different people, but not in the same conference in the one person.
Same conference. But see, here's the thing. They have one thing in common. They both hate Alabama. How can Tennessee fans hate that I like Tennessee and Auburn when we both hate the same team, though? Like, we both hate Alabama. But the example I was giving you, 2018, Tennessee and Auburn were playing each other. It was 11 a.m. kick in Jordan-Hare. Auburn was on the verge of firing Gus Malzahn. The conversation was to fire Gus Malzahn. And so I was sitting there cheering for Tennessee to beat Auburn because I wanted Malzahn fired. So I wanted Tennessee to win.
That makes sense if you were the Auburn fan and you wanted a change of direction. But that's not a scenario that's going to come up every year.
No, it doesn't come up every year.
Yeah, right. So the normal circumstance is when they are playing, who are you cheering for? Like, if they play tomorrow, who are you cheering for?
If they were to play tomorrow, which
based off what happened, now they got a new coach. So were you happy about that for Auburn?
No, I absolutely. Okay,
dang it. Yeah, I caught you.
Okay,
you don't like the hire,
You're hopping into something that every person on 3HL is listening right now, going, God, Blaine, trust me, this is the weirdest thing.
Oh, so you have discussed this before?
We've discussed it because I dislike Hugh Freeze.
Because it makes no sense, Joe.
It doesn't. It doesn't make any sense. So I dislike Hugh Freeze with a passion. Okay.
What? Oh, you sitting in a chair, in Arkansas State, Mickey loves him.
I know he does.
But why do you hate him?
And I know I just feel like he's one of those pop-up tent preachers. I just like that guy that will come into town, tell you whatever you want to hear.
But if he gets you wins, it doesn't matter, right?
But it's a snake oil salesman?
Snake oil salesman.
Well, I know, I get that. But if he wins, why do you care? What is he like? Well, I mean, initially you may not like that, but if he starts winning, you'll be like, oh, I love that salesman.
Well, and that's the confliction, because I dislike him off the field. Off the field, snake oil.
So you can't separate.
But no, and I can't. That's my bar set. But what happens is he does what we knew he would do. He was able to bring in recruits for Auburn this offseason. Yeah. He's been able to hit the transfer portal amazingly.
Did some great staff hires, everything.
Great staff hires. He's brought back Auburn guys. Like, he's doing all the great things. I just feel like if I'm in a room with him,
you still don't like him.
I still don't. Like, it's going to be one of those things of, yes, I'm glad Auburn won this weekend. God, I hate Hugh Freeze. It's going to be that he could win the national championship, and that's what I will say. I'm happy for Auburn. I hate Hugh Freeze.
Oh man,
it's a confliction.
I was just about to give an analogy that was not going to be good.
Oh no, now I want to hear. You asked me the question. I want to hear yours.
No, I was just like saying, oh man, I love my wife, but I hate she gets on my nerves.
I love my wife and my girlfriend.
Right.
I love them both.
I was going to say it, but I was trying to keep it. Look, it was like, what are you talking about?
No, that's the confliction that I have with Hugh Freeze. Like, it really is. I dislike him for all the off the field stuff, but between the white lines, I know he's amazing. I know he's a great coach. I know he's going to develop quarterback
But you
talent.
don't know him, so why do you care about the offense? All you care about is your team winning.
Well, no, because I also care about so many other things. Like, okay, Alan Green, who is now the former athletic director for Auburn.
Okay.
Loved him. Hung out with him a few times, got to talk to him, got to know him.
And
I
he's
love
a
him as a
goner.
person. He is a great guy. Auburn's kind of a cesspool. It just is, okay? If you know anything about the behind-the-scenes stuff, you just know all the, the good old boy networks and all this other stuff.
They did the setup with the previous coach and try to make it.
Exactly.
But why are you still a fan? You should be pissed off at them.
I am mad at them. I'm mad at the guy because I'm not going to say the guy's name, but if you're an Auburn fan, you know exactly the booster I'm talking about. Like, I know the guy. I don't like the guy, but that guy's the reason that Auburn had to settle for the Boise State head coach, because every time that Alan Green said, "This is my coach," the people that were going to pay his contract went, "No, he's not." So being an Auburn fan is difficult because you're always got the devil and the angel on the shoulders and arguing with each other about which way you're going to go for winning and losing. Do you want this to happen? Do you not want this to happen? Do you want all that? So
what's your feel with Pearl then?
Oh, I love Pearl.
Oh yeah, you love him. Even though he destroyed Tennessee because of a barbecue. Well, I know, but still, he got caught.
He had a barbecue.
So, I mean, hey, you not mad because he had a barbecue and he knew it was against the rules?
I'd be mad if it wasn't good barbecue. Like if it was a bad cook. Like if you had the barbecue and the player that you're trying to get or however it all went down, you're in the barbecue going, "Coach, this really isn't even good barbecue." Like, we're breaking the rules for bad barbecue.
Yeah. But if it was still bad, but you like Bruce Pearl, you would be like, "Oh, yeah, the barbecue's okay." You would have said that because you like him.
Well, no, and I even when he was at Tennessee and the barbecue thing happened, I went, "Are we really getting mad at the man for having a barbecue?"
To me, he shouldn't have got suspended. I'm not putting that. That's me, though.
See?
Like, well, it was against the rules, and he lied. I mean, so maybe if he would have told the truth, he might not got canned.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's part of it.
Hey.
It's the whole idea of this whole thing about the Auburn fandom is you're always arguing with yourself. Like, do you want good things to happen or not because you want the right and wrong people to be gone? Like, as an Auburn fan, everybody appreciated what Pat Dye did for the Auburn program while he was the head coach. People also forget that Pat Dye is the reason why Auburn didn't win a national championship in 93 or 94 because they were on probation because of Pat Dye.
Oh.
And Pat Dye is also the reason why Auburn couldn't hire certain coaches because their athletic director would always go back to him and say, "So, Coach, what do you think about this guy?" "I'm not a fan." "All right, cool. Not this guy then." So it was that sort of stuff. So that's the back and forth.
But soon as Freeze beats Nick Saban, he's going to be like, "Oh, he's my guy. He's my guy."
That's the problem. That is always the problem. It is. Because that's what's going to happen. At some point in time, Hugh Freeze is going to beat Nick Saban, and I'm going to be standing right where Robert is right now, and I'm going to have to go, "Auburn beats Alabama." Yeah, that's great. That means Hugh Freeze won.
Well, here's what's going on to me. So for him not to feel like he's a fair weather fan, he chose two fan bases to like. So he feels like he wins either way, and put in his brain of why it makes sense.
You know what's bad?
It makes no sense.
No, and it doesn't make sense. I will admit it doesn't make sense. And what's sad about it, both fan bases have basically disowned me because of the fact that I admit that I like the other.
Do you have a license plate to split with Tennessee and Auburn? That's what I want to see.
House divided sticker.
You got the house divided, and it's all you. It's not you and your wife or significant other. Or,
it's all me.
No, it's all you. You said you were fighting with your own brain. That's what it sounds like.
See, in Alabama, because I still have an Alabama tag, I don't think they have Tennessee tags. So I have an Auburn tag at the moment. If you've ever seen me driving, you know what my back of my tag says.
So that's telling you who his allegiance is to, guys.
It does.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm supposed to be getting my new tag here. We're in February. I'm like a May person. So I could get a tag that says Tennessee fan on my Auburn tag. That would be both, would it not?
Tennessee fans, would you let Joe Hunk tailgate at a game with you?
Thank you.
Would you let him?
Come on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Even if your barbecue is just okay. He just said it. I don't know, man. That's what, 737-1045 the zone, 615, of course. Yeah, would you let Joe Hunk tailgate with you at a UT game?
All right, let's go. Thomas, welcome into Blaine and Mickey. How's it going, man?
Yeah, the heck with this outline here.
Good afternoon, Jimmy. Good afternoon. I think I might be able to sum this up a little bit. It reminds me of okay, I love my children, but I hate my wife. Although she's a part of me and her, and it's like
Robert,
just
stop that.
Shooting freeze. He got those kids on the team, but you can't stand Drew Freeze, but you still love the team and the players he got. So I believe with y'all to take that on to another level.
Oh,
Thomas,
man.
I mean,
I think you took it to that level.
He may have nailed it. That's the way that I feel. It's so strange. I am a hunk amongst himself here. Like, I'm divided amongst myself. That happens every time.
I can't even see myself I don't even know if I could actually do it. Like, okay, I'm a Titans guy who, like Robert said, like, I can't love the Ravens.
See? I mean,
no way.
I
don't care what team you put with it. You could put them with anybody. You could put them with the Kansas City Chiefs or, who I want to do well, Andy Reid, a guy I really enjoyed playing for, a great human being. Nope, if we're playing the Titans, they go down.
So, and it's Titans above all.
Yeah.
See, okay.
You can only have one allegiance to each pro team. No, when you can't. Like, if the Titans played the Eagles, I would be like, Titans. It ain't even close.
Okay, that was the team I was going to ask about.
It's not even close.
You wore both jerseys.
Nope. No, it ain't even close. And I like the players I play with. Everything. Nope, it ain't close. Nope. No, you can't do that. Yeah. Now, a good question since it was All-Star Weekend. Ask LeBron which team he loves.
Oh, see,
that he play for. And he's going to say the Cavs, but it's hard when you play for like the big organ, like the Lakers. And some
if
of the
he
teams
were
he
to
played
retire,
for, the Heat.
And the Heat and the Lakers, or the Cavs and the Lakers, played each other in the NBA Finals, who would he be going for?
Whichever team he's on.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably still would be playing, wouldn't he?
Exactly. That's what he would say, too. I'm waiting for somebody to ask him that, too, when it's all over with. He's going to, hey, what do you want to go into the hall as?
Oh, exactly. Which one do you want to go? Which one are you going to go as? And I don't know which one he would say.
Cleveland!
Yeah,
this one's for you! Yeah, that's
ding dongs. Let's talk about those. How about
that was just a ding dong right there. It's yelling on air. Sorry if we got your ears ringing there. All right. That was Robert's fault.
It is. We blame him. He's the one that's controlling the mic right now. He's controlling the volume levels. Ding dong of the week. Blaine, do you have one? Before we go to the phone lines.
No, I think we want to hear from you first.
Okay, from me?
Yeah, you.
From me.
Yeah, from you first.
Okay.
Yeah, you ding dong. Since you already have shown that you are a ding dong, I think we're obliged to give you the first chance to go here.
Okay.
Auburn, Tennessee fan.
My ding dong of the week, then I'll go with this from the start. My ding dong of the week is NASCAR. Like, we're going after all of NASCAR.
What?
It's just a blanket.
It was just Daytona 500 weekend. What are you doing?
It was just a blanket NASCAR statement, okay? And the reason is, you asked the question on your Twitter feed, Bishop 23. Which one did you pay attention to? I actually did watch the Daytona 500 when I was not watching like everything else. I had it on. I was watching. But the whole 6 different overtime things and starting multiple times.
Is that what happened?
And then ending in cautions. Okay, so it was 212 laps. It's a 500-mile race. The Daytona track is you're supposed to go around it 200 times. The way that NASCAR works is if there is a yellow flag at towards the very end of the race, you go into what is considered a green, white, checkered flag finish. If for some reason there's like a caution on one of those laps, you do another green, white, checkered. And then if you do it for a second time and you have another caution, then the race actually ends on a caution. So your biggest event, it's like the Masters. It's the Masters, it's the Super Bowl, it's everything put into one. You go to a double overtime and you still end on a caution. And your biggest event of the year, when this is the event that's supposed to make me watch for the next 4 or 5 weeks and can get into NASCAR. And you end on that you end in a double overtime caution flag.
Oh.
Nuh-uh.
Well, what would you propose to how I should end.
You go until there's only one car left. I don't care if they keep wrecking each, because that's what happens.
He said keep wrecking.
Like seriously, okay, you have the ball on the 5-yard line. The ball is right in the middle of the field. The team is about to kick the game-winning field goal. They kick it, but there's an offsides call or there's a false start, and they have to kick again. And then they kick it again, and there's another false, and it just keeps backing them up a little bit more, but they keep making the field goal. You know that at some point in time they're going to make it and it's going to be over. But you keep.
Or he could miss.
He could. But what I'm saying is, you get my excitement up for the green, white, checkered, or for the last lap, and then you don't do it again. It's like a bunch of false starts every single time. Just let the cars wreck and just keep going. Like, I don't care if it's 400 laps. Just give me a real winner. That's all I want. I don't want to have a green, white, checkered in a caution where we're sitting here and they're like, and now they're ground and he's going to be your winner. No, I want it to be nose to nose, side by side, photo finish. And those are the only two left, like it's Ricky Bobby in Talladega Nights, where there's only two cars left on the track. If that's what we get down to, then fine. Because if you want to wreck your $1 million race car, that's fine by me. But come on, man.
Okay, it's understandable. Did you watch it? Did you watch the Daytona? No.
Look, I know I sound like a hick, Blaine, but you ain't got to worry about me watching any NASCAR, buddy. If I wanted to watch somebody go in a circle, I'd do one at my house.
Okay. I didn't know. Did you watch the Genesis invitation? What did you watch?
Golf? I know I may sound like a redneck, but you do not have to worry about me watching golf, Blaine.
So golf and racing is out. So
I watch the fun stuff. I watch the XFL. I watch the Slam Dunk Contest. I watched WWE's Elimination Chamber on Saturday.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I watched a bunch of fun stuff.
Okay. So did you come up with your ding dong?
Oh, I always got a ding-dong for you, but it has nothing to do with any of those things I watched this weekend.
I know.
My ding-dong has to do with New Mexico State's head coach. He made a promise to his team that if they won a bowl game, he would get a tattoo to remind him of the season that they had. And he followed through with it and got possibly the biggest, dumbest tattoo.
Did he say what he was going to get? Or
he did not say. He did not say. So let me paint a picture for you.
He got a flower.
I have no idea. His name is Coach Keel. He is the head coach of the New Mexico State Aggies, and he got a big NMSU with two guns crossed that said Bowl Champs 2022, and he looks like a big biker guy on his arm. But if you look at the guy, he looks like a librarian. So if he ever has a pool kid or a pool party, somebody comes over, they're all going to get to see his big dumb tattoo that I'm sure it was a big bowl win for you, but I might have celebrated in a less suspicious way, like maybe going to Red Lobster and get some unlimited cheddar biscuits or something.
Oh, did they get to go to a bowl game because they were 5-7 and somebody couldn't? But
that would make it.
Well, I only say that it was some team that only got in by default because they didn't get to play a game.
Like their GPA is the reason why.
No, they didn't play a game or something because it was canceled. So I didn't know if that was the team or not. I thought it was somewhere in New Mexico. I could be wrong though. But that is funny. My ding dong is not so funny. I am so perturbed. Speaking of fandom, of just the inconsistent play of the UT men's basketball team. That is frustrating. You call in and be lit and be mad if you want to at me, but that first half, I was like, did they just get off the bus and then warm up? I'm like, what the heck is going on, man? It was just, it was really sickening. And and then so now they've gotten swept by, Kentucky. Yep. So they hadn't been swept since 2011-12 season. There was some good plays. Meshack played well, 16-8. Vescovi played well, however you want to pronounce his name now this year. But they've lost, 4 of the last 6? Or you could say 3 of the last 4?
3 of the last 4 because 2 of them on the last second shot.
So I'm just wondering if they're not. And I keep listening to Coach Barnes, and he says all the things that he's telling them, and then they're just not doing it. So that's a really twofold for me. Then your message is not being heard. Why is that? And then why are they not executing it? And he's saying this like now 2 or 3 games in a row, naturally, with the losses, I'm sure. So to me, that's deflection of saying it's not me, it's them, without saying that. So then your message has been heard. So maybe you need to change how you're presenting your message to get into their heads so they actually understand it. So, for that performance, they were overmatched the entire game. Length seemed to be a problem. Their defense, even by Kentucky's, even though Tennessee's defense was pretty solid, except they were backdooring. That's what you do when you play such pressing type defense and all up in people's face. You can backdoor them, and that happened to Key a couple times. And boy, Barnes got into him. And then next thing you know, you forget some of these guys are human, especially this generation, is he then disappeared. And he's a guy that you needed to put up scoring. So it's twofold now. You got to say, I'm going to correct you, but I'm going to do it in a manner that, hey, we still need you. I think they lose confidence at some point in time, and they didn't have two really good players too, but I think some players he lets get away with certain stuff and some don't, and then all of a sudden this guy feels like he's gotten beat up verbally, and then now he's scared to shoot. See what that does? Mm-hmm. It's the mental psyche of an athlete. So there's certain things that I'm just perturbed. And I think it's the same old Tennessee to me when they get into the tournament because you don't know who you're going to get. And I'm afraid they exactly what everybody thinks of Barnes' team is exactly what's going to happen in the tournament when they have a really good team. How do you be number one in the top 10 and all of a sudden you get beat in the second round of the tournament? That's what I feel like is going to happen. So I'm frustrated just watching it because I feel like they should be better than that. And a lot of it's on the players too. Now they were missing two, so we got to give them credit, at least hanging in there in their fight. But it's easier, when you're, behind. There's no pressure like that when they were behind by so much. And they came out second half, lights out. Muscovy, man, woo. But it wasn't enough. No. So I'm a little perturbed in the inconsistency of Tennessee basketball and how they play.
615-737-1045. You can watch us, Zone TV, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. There we got comments coming in. Andy, Fudge, Cousin Danny, Eric. We're going to get to you when we come back. Blaine and Mickey. This is 1045 The Zone. Blaine and Mickey, 1045 the zone. Joe Hunk in. Blaine sitting over there, still letting me know I'm a ding dong.
There are two fan bases. But there's some other people saying you're ding dongs for other reasons.
There are. Now, and we're about to get to our phone calls at 615-737-1045. Lonzo agrees with Robert, or he says that his ding dong of the week is WWE not letting Sami Zayn beat Roman Reigns at the at Elimination Chamber on Saturday night.
Oh. Story's not over with. That's why we watch it.
Look,
it ain't done with.
No, amazing storytelling. It was amazing storytelling. Problem is, Sami Zayn versus Cody Rhodes is not going to sell out of WrestleMania. And that's why you have to have Roman Reigns as the champ.
That's true. And this is the second time, not to steal this conversation, we'll hit this really quick. This is the second time this has happened in Roman Reigns' tenure as Universal WWE Heavyweight Champion, where they were in front of a wrestler's hometown crowd. The story was built, and it looked like he would defeat the champion in Roman Reigns, but Drew McIntyre at Clash in the Castle. It was over in the UK in front of his hometown fans. They did not let him get that win in front of his hometown. Now, fast forward to Sami Zayn. It makes even more sense for him to dethrone Roman Reigns. Once again, in front of his hometown fans, he doesn't get it done because the story's not over with. We've got to keep building to something. And Sami said in the post-match press conference that the story is not over yet. So we still got some watching to do.
Andy in Mount Juliet, welcome in. Blaine and Mickey, how you doing, sir?
What's up, Hunk?
How's it going?
If you're going to talk about a sport, know what you're talking about.
Get him! All right, what did I say wrong about NASCAR?
So the way the overtime rules work, they start with a green, white checker. If the caution flag flies before the white flag lap, they do it again. Mm-hmm. If the caution flag flies after they take the white flag, the next flag is the end of the race. And not to mention, had they let them race all the way back to the start-finish line, the wreck that caused the caution was just past the start-finish line, so you want to talk about killing people now.
Okay, we don't want that to happen, okay?
Well,
okay,
thanks for clarifying.
Look, and Andy, I will admit to you 100%, I seriously may watch 2 races a year. I can't, not even going to hide it, not going to lie. I actually thought that the overtime rule was only 2 overtimes, period. So
no, it keeps going until they take the white flag, and then the next flag finishes the race, be it a caution or a checker.
There you
Got
go.
You. Okay, Andy, I appreciate you clearing that up because you were right. I did mess that one up. So yes,
ding dong.
There we go. I'm just proving it. There's just another little check there for you, Blaine.
Yeah,
there we go.
Well,
615.
We've all been there and done that. We all got ding dongs before.
Thank you. 737-1045. Let's stay in Nashville. Eric, welcome into Blaine and Mickey.
Sound right.
Hey, guys, I've got ding dong. Before I get to it, there's something else I got to kind of correct you a little bit on. Vanderbilt still has to go to Rupp a week from Wednesday and play Kentucky, but also you didn't have Kentucky as part of your teams making the NCAA tournament. I think Bernardi does, somebody else does. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they're like a 10-11 seed. So unless Kentucky falls flat on this face, I mean, I have no doubt in this. I would lose no super Kentucky didn't make it, but a lot of people still have Kentucky in, so that's a team that you forgot about. Mm-hmm. But anyway, my ding dong, this is an ongoing ding dong, and it's all encompassing. But yes, it is why. Let me explain. It's to the NFL, to the hotel in Arizona, in Phoenix, Arizona, the Marriott, and the woman who filed sexual harassment charges against Michael Irvin. Of course, I don't know if you heard about the latest. There's a video that's supposedly floating around out there that shows the interaction between her and Michael Irvin. As she approached him, he didn't approach her. That they talked for 30 seconds. He went to his hotel room, and there's also 30 seconds. I mean, there's also witnesses, too, that apparently witnessed the interaction and said that Michael Irvin didn't do nothing wrong. He has now filed a $100 million lawsuit against the Marriott and the woman, and if the charges are proven to be false, I think her name should be put out there. And here's what really makes it bad. The reports are that the woman did call the police first. She called the NFL first and got Michael Irvin suspended from his job from the NFL Network and ESPN. And like I said, if this is not true, her name should be out there. And if I'm Michael Irvin, I don't sell the lawsuit. Guys, y'all take care. We'll talk to you again soon.
Yeah, thanks for that, Eric. Yeah, he was pulled.
I saw that at the Super Bowl, right?
It was.
And I was like, what happened? And then he was like, I did not do anything wrong. And I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah, he did opening night And because I saw him at opening night doing interviews and things like that, because Michael Irvin, what he's really good at for NFL Network on opening night is he will just walk up on stage and just starts talking to one of the players. And so he was doing that Monday night. And then after that, he was gone, and it was because of this.
Situation.
So I don't want to comment on it because I don't know all the details on it. But yes, he is right about the fact that Michael Irvin has filed a $100 million lawsuit against Marriott and the accuser.
Yeah, all I heard is he said he got a lot of supporting people who saw what happened, and he said he didn't do anything wrong. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true or not, so I have no idea.
All right, before we get to the break, let's head out to the borough. Cousin Danny, welcome in to Blaine and Mickey.
Man, it's good to be on again. How y'all doing today? So let's talk about a real big ding-dong. Let's talk about Charles Barkley being wasted, drunk, doing the broadcast for the All-Star game, and then trying to tell people that he had an audio delay on his microphone when Shaq called him out on it on live television. I tell you what, listening to Shaq and Charles Barkley go back and forth with one another is one of the best parts about any NBA coverage that they do together. It's hysterical. But, man, Barkley was lit. And he was slurring his words. They'd taking too long to say things. And Shaq was like, "Hey, man, why are you drunk on TV? What you doing, man?" And Charles was like, "No, it's my microphone."
What?
That's the ding dong of the week right there. You got to watch the video. It's too gold. And I don't care. Hey, look, man, you want to do your job drunk, do your job drunk. That's on you, Charles. Just don't lie about it. Just don't lie about it. Man, I'm a grown man.
They maybe have a rule clause in this contract. Ain't no drinking while on air. So
that was.
I did not see. You saw it?
No, what I saw was him talking about how boring Salt Lake City was, and because again, it's in Utah. There is the culture there because of the Mormonism, and so they are not drinkers at all, and so Charles Barkley called the city boring because of. He even says, "Because these people aren't going to heaven at this rate. There's nothing to do in this boring city."
Oh, I am not surprised. I've hung out with Charles a few times, and he can be pretty dangerous.
I always like when he makes fun of the women in San Antonio. He was like, "Now we know there ain't not a single pretty woman in San Antonio."
He does not like San Antonio. I've been in San Antonio. I've been there. We used to have training camp there when I was a Oiler at Trinity College, and I beg to differ.
615-737-1045. Next hour, Blaine and Mickey coming up next on 1045 The Zone.
I like
What's going on from the Superbook.com sports desk? I'm Robert Walsh. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. won the Daytona 500 this weekend. He won the race in double overtime and under caution. The two overtimes pushed the race to a record 212 laps, a dozen laps beyond the scheduled distance, and a total of 530 yards. In the NHL, the Wild defeated the Preds 4-3 on Sunday in Minnesota. The Preds split their games over the weekend, though, defeating Florida 7-3 on Saturday. In the NBA, the All-Star game, Giannis took down Team LeBron 184-175. Jason Tatum scored an All-Star game record 55 points and won the game MVP. NCAA baseball kicked off this weekend. Vanderbilt routed Texas 12-2 to take 2 of 3 over the weekend at the College Baseball Showdown in Arlington, Texas. And the number 2 Vols took down UC San Diego 7-0, getting their first win of the season after dropping their first 2 games. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Blaine and Mickey on 104.5 The Zone. You can tweet at Blaine and Mickey with your ding dong of the week. You can also give us a call, 615-737-1045. Mickey out celebrating his favorite president. I'm going to continue to say that just because I know a lot of fun, weird things.
Who do you think it is, if you had to guess?
I feel like he's a Theodore Roosevelt guy.
I would have gone Teddy Roosevelt, too. I like Taft, the big fat guy. They couldn't get him out of the bathtub. They had to get a crane to get him. He got stuck in the tub. How cool is that? That's a leader of the free world. He was too big to get out of a bathtub. Good for him. I'd love to get like that. If you get so successful that you cannot be lifted out of a bathtub, something went right in your life for you to get that big. I think we should celebrate Taft.
Oh, man. We should celebrate him.
Taft needs his own day.
Only one term, but, I mean, he only needed it. Hey, he probably couldn't fit out of the White House. They were like, we had to put in a garage door to get this guy out of here.
What's bad is Taft couldn't get out of the White House, and then they installed a pool for another president in the White House.
You know he would have been out there swimming in it.
He would. So what you're saying is September 15th every single year should be William Taft Day, and we should celebrate it.
Everybody gets a bodysuit, comes to work looking big as hell, and they're all thankful that they aren't that big. They can fit through the door walking in the right way.
Blaine, you got a favorite president since his is Taft apparently, and we've already said that Mickey's is Teddy Roosevelt?
Well, I'm going to give homage. Not really, but, just because I just read that he's going into hospice, so prayers up for Jimmy Carter.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm going to just say him, but I don't really have a favorite.
President of the people, a humble peanut farmer.
Well.
And he was hanging out when the Braves were winning a World Series as well. He was right beside Ted Turner when he won that World Series.
Yeah.
When Marquise Grissom made that catch. 615-737-1045. Let's continue on our phone lines. Head out to Clarksville. Fudge, welcome into Blaine and Mickey.
So, Joe, my initial ding-dong was for you, giving out ding-dongs to sports you don't know the rules to. But
so you switched it to me, or you got your own ding-dong?
No, I got a reverse ding-dong. Goes out to Travis Pastrana. If no one paid attention, so he went out, never raced a cup car, went out and qualified his way into the 500.
Wow.
Led 2 laps, and then finished 17th. Or no, he finished 11th, but he also, being the adrenaline junkie he was, got to be in a wreck in the Daytona 500. So shout out to Travis Pastrana.
Oh, okay. So you know all of this?
Yeah, no, it was because again, when I was watching, and Fudge, we appreciate the phone call.
Yeah.
During it, they were like, everybody is pitting. Except for Travis Pastrana, who is now leading the Daytona 500.
Oh, that's how he got the lead. Oh, my. Wait, 2 laps?
Yeah, and so he was leading, and then immediately when it started back. But no, he was right. Travis Pastrana qualified. He was in the race. And what people were saying was, if he even finishes the race, he should celebrate. Because he had never raced in anything like this before. Like, he seriously was like, it was almost like Tim Tebow, except saying, hey, I'm going to go play baseball. Pastrana's like, I've raced dirt bikes. Let's see what NASCAR's like.
I raced dirt bikes.
I've done dirt bikes. I've done some skateboarding stuff. Let's see what it's like. Shaun White just saying, you know what? I've done some X Games stuff. Let's try something else. Let's do that.
So,
that's
so
what
you were
Pastrana
cheering
did.
for him at that point in time?
Actually, it was kind of cool because
Yeah.
you were seeing a guy that was just like, again, he had no
Like a regular
business
guy, you
being
felt like you
there.
could relate. Oh, I could, man, I attached to him. I felt like I could have done that, right?
Because look, again, I'm not going to admit, because again, we've had people that have said I'm the ding dong of the week for not knowing the rules for NASCAR. I get it. Okay. But there's something about NASCAR that can be amazing, which is the reason why that was my ding dong. It annoyed me because I was wanting it to be so successful because of how difficult and how much of a thinker sport NASCAR can be. Because you have to use math to figure out all the different, your fuel gauges, how much you've got to go down with all the different pieces of your equipment that you have to adjust on a pit stop and all this. Like it's a thinker sport. And you have to know all these numbers and everything. It's really interesting. Plus, you got to know science. Like I thought was really cool. And then it ends on a caution, man. Okay, I know that you might have killed somebody.
It ain't on a caution. It went all the quiet whispers.
It did. Yes. By the way, Emmett says on Zone TV, which you can hop in on there as well. Get in on the chat on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Jimmy Carter, Habitat for Humanity, set a very high bar for most presidential endeavors because he wasn't about the money. Do you know probably the greatest president, or a president that was probably the greatest athlete between all the presidents?
Oh, since it's President's Day.
Since President's Day.
Oh, I have no idea.
I got to go Reagan, right? Reagan played college football. Didn't George Bush also play? Senior?
Okay.
Oh, yeah, the Bush. Yeah, but
George H.W. Bush played in 2 College World Series.
what?
For Yale. Was playing first base, 2 College World Series for Yale. It was like
You didn't have that.
1948. It was
1948?
It's like 1948. I mean, you know, it's 1947 and 48.
But he did. He played in it.
He played in 2. Matter of fact, it's the only time that Yale's ever been in the College World Series. George H.W.
fact.
Bush was playing first base for Yale.
Nice.
But he's not the greatest. He's not the greatest.
Oh, so who's
Robert,
the
do you
greatest?
have a guess?
I don't think Taft was into sumo wrestling, so I'm going to have to say not Taft. I know, was it Gerald Ford that was?
Gerald Ford.
Okay.
Gerald Ford.
What did he play?
Gerald Ford played center and linebacker for Michigan.
Oh,
He won MVP in
and center and linebacker.
Not just that. Michigan won 2 national championships with Gerald Ford. Yes.
Well, and I know you know the years of these.
Michigan won 2 national championships with Gerald Ford. Okay?
1932 and 1933.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
2 national championships with Gerald
Wow.
Ford.
Okay.
That is the most
impressive.
athletic president ever. Barack Obama, because everybody talks about him and playing basketball, Barack Obama did win a state championship on his high school basketball team.
Oh,
I would throw Abraham Lincoln out there too. Did you guys know he was a
What
very
they do?
accomplished wrestler?
Amateur wrestler.
And it was said that he was never pinned. He lost
He was
matches
never
due to
pinned?
points, but he was never pinned in competition.
oh,
He's a big, lanky dude, man.
That's impressive.
There was a story one time, and I can't, again, I'm trying to remember the story, that somebody got into an argument with him in his older years, and he said that he was a wrestler, and the guy actually challenged him to a match, like in the street.
Did he take him up on it?
And Abraham Lincoln took him up on it, and I believe he won.
Yeah, Abraham Lincoln is in the National Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Boom.
Dang. Hey, I thought it was special. We had this kid went undefeated all 4 years in high school. Lance Ellis.
Lance Ellis went
Yeah,
undefeated.
he went to IU and tore his ACL, his knee all up, and then nothing happened.
Oh, that's
That's horrible. Undefeated in high school. One
Seriously?
state all 4 years. Yep.
See, I'm
Crazy. At my high school cathedral, yeah, man.
wow.
It was crazy. He'd be walking around with people and just boom, because he was a light, like whatever, 112 or whatever the weight was.
Right. Like a featherweight or whatever it's
Yeah, he
what
was
we call
real.
it.
Yeah, he might have got up to 125 or something, but yeah. Dang, that's still pretty impressive.
By the way, Theodore Roosevelt was a boxer while he was at Harvard. And he made it to the finals of the Harvard Gym Championship, but lost because the ref missed an illegal blow. The dude...
It was a low blow?
It was a low blow, which means that was his ding-dong of the week.
Oh, my. You did not
And
just do that.
Boom! If it was time for a break, I would go to a break.
He just
right
dropped
now.
his ding-dong. Oh, that's horrible.
That's Teddy
Illegal
Roosevelt.
blow.
The legal blow on it is the reason why he lost. George W. Bush, he pitched at Yale, but he sucked. He wasn't like Daddy.
Oh.
Daddy played in the College World Series. I think George W. may have made the freshman team at Yale, and he was a relief pitcher.
Well, that's a lot of pressure. It's hard to live up to that.
That's like the story of his life.
Yeah,
I mean, it really is kind of the story of his life. It really absolutely is.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing is the story of our lives is the fact that for let me see, the next 9 weeks, the story of our life will be the 2 words NFL draft. That will be the story of our life.
Ooh.
Mock drafts are out today, but which one is better? Taking an offensive tackle in free agency or taking an offensive tackle in the draft? We'll have that next for you. 615-737-1045. This is Blaine and Mickey on 1045 The Zone.
Now, listen, we have some exciting news for you. For many of you who have lived here a long time, you already know Eurofix has been in Middle Tennessee area for your European car repair needs for now 24 years. And we've all gotten to watch them grow. And I don't know about you, but I love watching a hometown business take off. Well, we are now proud to announce the 5th location in Mount Juliet for Eurofix on Mount Juliet Road, right across the street from Dairy Queen. And Eurofix can serve you in Franklin, Hundred Oaks, Murfreesboro, Belmead, and now Mount Juliet. Pretty cool getting to watch a small-town mechanic starting in a barn in the backyard of a single-wide trailer and now to grow to 5 locations repairing thousands of cars each month. And at Eurofix, you get a 3-year nationwide warranty and a free loaner car with every repair appointment. And all you have to do is just give them a call at 844-EUROFIX. That's right, 844-EUROFIX, or you can visit them online at myEurofix.com. That's myEurofix.com. But I always tell them Blaine said you.
Blaine and Mickey on 104.5 The Zone. You can shoot us a tweet at Blaine and Mickey, where Beans McGee says NASCAR's not a sport.
Oh,
it's his words.
Oh, watch out.
Cousin Danny also wanted to remind us that not only did Abraham Lincoln, was he an amateur wrestler, but he also fought vampires as well, if you have seen that movie, which is so bad, but it is also funny just because of how the movie ends. If you haven't seen it, let's just say he had an option before going to the theater. That's all I'm going to say if you've never seen the movie. 615-737-1045 is how you get in on 104.5 The Zone, but we have developing news. Oh, no.
You said breaking news. I'm just listening. Yeah,
There's two things I was looking forward to on this show. That and the ending.
Oh,
Those are the two things I'm looking forward to the most.
Right?
All right, here we go. Jeremy Fowler says that the Indianapolis Colts are expecting to announce that Jim Bob Cooter, who is going to be their brand new offensive coordinator. If you don't know Jim Bob Cooter does, I mean, obviously you know who he is from the state of Tennessee, but he is the passing game coordinator with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh, man. I just want to say his name and working for the Titans. That would have been great. Jim Bob Cooter.
You can't say Jim Bob Cooter without saying it with an accent. Like, you just can't. It's impossible of saying Jim Bob Cooter without an accent.
You don't think you would be able to say him like a big fancy guy, like Jim Bob Cooter?
Like if he's on the golf course right before the Masters, now swinging on a one.
And then, now, my whole thing is you have to say his whole name. You can't just say Cooter.
No, you can't.
You have to say
Cooter.
his entire name.
You have to say Jim Bob Cooter.
Yeah.
Does it break? It kind of broke my heart that I just now learned that Jim Bob is not his real first and middle name.
What is it?
It's actually James Robert. Jim Bob is just what people call him.
Oh.
That kind of breaks my heart a little bit. I wanted him to be named Jim Bob Cooter.
That just happened. We got to X that out the.
I feel like it takes away from the mystique.
Yeah,
exactly. It does. Yeah. I wanted him to always be Jim Bob Cooter from Fayetteville, Alabama. Or Fayetteville, actually not Fayetteville, Alabama, Fayetteville, Tennessee. That's where I wanted him to be. But no, James Robert is his real name, which is kind of sad on that.
Do you have a name that nobody you used to get called like when you were a kid and nobody called you?
Oh my heavens! Let's see. My real last name's Hunkapillar. So we've had Caterpillar, we've had Hunkabilly. I've had that one before because instead of calling me a hillbilly, they called me a Hunkabilly.
Is this true, guys? Is his real last name is What?
Real last name is Hunkapillar.
Hunkapillar.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Hunkapillar. HUNKAPILLER.
Oh, I didn't know that. Nobody ever told me.
No, so the truth behind it, the reason why I got shortened to Hunk was because my first or second day in radio, my first cousin was arrested for writing bad checks. And so her name, which was Hunkapillar, was just thrown over every single news site.
Hunkapillar.
So my program director said, okay, we're going to shorten that to Hunk.
Oh, so it's almost like, that sounds cooler too. Also, it's hard. Joe Hunk.
Yeah. See, I like Joe Hunk.
Like, yeah, Joe Hunkapillar.
Yeah. See, that doesn't go it doesn't flow as well. Yeah. It doesn't. The only time I like the Hunkapillar is when Rhett Bryan says it at the end of a Titans broadcast because he goes full God-given name. Joseph Hunkapillar. He just goes full thing whenever he's talking about the Titans and about the broadcast on there. So there's that. Now,
so what is Cooter's real name? You said James?
James Robert Cooter.
Oh, okay.
Not the Cooter. That's really formal, but it's Cooter.
Dang.
Yeah. James Robert Cooter from Fayetteville, Tennessee. And he was the passing game coordinator, obviously, for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And Jeremy Fowler is saying that he is about to be the offensive coordinator now for the Indianapolis Colts. So, there you go. He's not going to be a Titan, but unfortunately, he's going to be a Colt. Yeah. Now, the other thing is on Mondays, mock drafts get released everywhere. It's like they're releasing like 2 and 3 a week, man. And it's crazy because the closer you get to April 27th, you're going to start getting them daily and 2 and 3 a day. It's almost like the bracketology. Every single game, after every single game, Joe Lunardi has to drop a brand new bracketology. But the mock drafts are all coming out. Titans are sitting at 11. The thought process, if you were to take a sample of all of the mock drafts that are out there from credible sources, I'm talking about your ESPNs, your NFL networks, your CBS, 9 out of 10 will say that the Titans are going to take an offensive tackle at the 11 spot. Now, majority of them are saying Paris Johnson out of Ohio State is going to be your offensive tackle. But my question is here in a couple of weeks, free agency is going to start up. Which way would you prefer the Titans to go on that? I mean, obviously, my questions for you is, would you prefer for the Titans to go out and get an offensive tackle that's proven in the league, that you know what they are in the NFL? Or do you want to go the route that people are saying the Titans are going to go and go with the Paris Johnson from Ohio State and go with him being your day one starter whenever the schedule comes out and you know week one he's going to be the guy at the left tackle position?
Well, it's an easy answer, what you want to do and what's best for the team, but also what is in favor of making those moves. And when I'm saying that, I'm talking about is this a good free agency year for awesome offensive tackles? And if I'm going to go pay the big dough for a free agent offensive tackle, I got to make sure they're going to be available. And which ones do I want and which ones am I going to play the big, give them all what I need to give them? And the only guy I can think of is the Chiefs offensive tackle.
Orlando Brown.
Right. And that's the only guy I can think of off the top of my head that I'd say he's worthy of that money. And there's sometimes he's inconsistent, but we got to see him against some elite pass rushers in the Super Bowl, and he proved that, all of them proved that it was deserving. So I would favor in this year's draft and with free agency, I think they're going to go the route of drafting.
Yep.
But with that being said, you got to cover yourself so you got to get – the Titans have to get a veteran, proven guy just in case your guy isn't there at 11. And so when I'm talking about now, that swing tackle, who is that guy? Just in case you need him to start maybe in a pinch for a season or for 3 or 4 games. So maybe you sign that insurance policy if you can't get your guy. That way, come draft, then you're not stuck in, I got to take this guy at 11. Maybe you take the guy in the second round and maybe get another really solid player. But I don't think this free agency is big on offensive tackles. I'm pulling up now. Rhett Bryan gave me this a couple weeks ago, and Fant is out there. Dennis Kelly, the Undertaker, was a guy that I saw, but none of these guys are. But the McClinchy kid from the 49ers who ran would know really well, but he's a right tackle, not a blindside tackle. So then does that mean if you sign him, do you move Petit Frere to guard or do you make him your swing guy?
Right.
See, and that's how you elevate, and then you then go draft a guy at the left tackle at 11. Now, sometimes, people may move up knowing that what your needs are, so that scares other teams, so they will move up if, let's just say, they wanted to get that tackle or a tackle, offensive tackle. So it's always interesting. I think the way this free agency is, I think I would probably lean more towards drafting an offensive tackle. I think it's a deep draft for offensive tackles. And you also, the caveat, if you can't get your guy, you can still draft another position even though you need it, and just don't push the envelope if it's not there. And that's what's hard, not to do in a draft. But I think I'm cool with them going out there and maybe sign an insurance policy. That's it. If you can't get the top-rated offensive tackle out there, and that guy's a stud, and you bring in the big bucks. If you got anybody in mind, let me know.
No, and the reason I ask is because the Orlando Brown Jr. is the white whale. Like, if you can draft, or if you can sign him, great. Right now, The Athletic is saying that most likely the Chiefs are going to throw a franchise tag on him.
Which they did last year, right?
They did last year. It'll be the second year in the row that they did that. And the reason is because they still can't come on agreement for a long-term deal. Is the left tackle position similar to, say, running back, where you start to hit the 30-year-old mark and you start to go, okay, I don't want to sign a left or right tackle that's over the age of 30? Because looking at the free agents that are available right now, there are very few that are actually below the age of 30. Orlando Brown, whenever the season starts, he'll be 27. But majority of the left tackles, like an Eric Fisher, for instance, he's 32. He was on multiple teams.
That's why
this
you
year.
didn't hear me mention him. He had an Achilles injury 2 years ago, and he's never reached the level since then. Yeah. So that's why he's not even on the table. Now, what I can say, to your point, not necessarily maybe this free agency, but offensive tackles, you judge differently than running backs. This is just a whole different ball game. If you're a proven starter in this league and you're at 31, 32, most of those guys can play, especially if you've been starting for a long time, usually go a long while. I'm looking at the history from the Runyons that I've played with, to Hopkins, to the Fred Millers, to you go down the list, and Ruse, and we can keep going and going. And those guys could play. I mean, if Lawan would have had injuries, he'd be a 15-year veteran type guy. That's the type of level of player. So most of those guys who are really good offensive blindside tackles, you're going to play at least you're going to get 12 years out of those guys if you're a staple first-round, high-level player.
So what about somebody by the name of Jason Peters? Do you know who he is?
Yeah, no, you don't take him.
41 years old.
No, but that shows he's still playing. They signed him at the middle of towards the end of the season, and I remember with the Eagles. Who picked him up? Was the Chief?
After the Eagles, he was with the Bears, and he was with the Cowboys.
Cowboys. That's who picked him up at the end. I watched him play, and he actually did pretty good out there. He started. And then he got injured. See, he said all that time he looked good in for a game. And then the second game he started, I think he strained a quad or a hip muscle, and they had to take him out and they had to shuffle their whole offensive line. So he still looked pretty solid. So that shows you they can go. I mean, if you're a proven dude that can play at a high level, usually you go pretty long. I mean, Eric Williams and all those guys, yeah. So it's not the same as running. Running back is in his own category. Okay. As far as Tread is 30 years old. Now, to your point, though, at 30, that's when you start looking to say, okay, when is he going to start? How many more years does he have at a high level? And you say, when will that downtick start? Every position kind of has its own animal of how much, depending on wear and tear scheme you're in. Are you losing speed? Are you not making plays anymore? I don't think people are saying that about a corner. If he's 30 and he's still running really fast, you just start saying, about that 32 range, though. 2 years, it's like dog years. It goes really fast. You go, I don't know. Like Stephon Gilmore. Oh, elite for a long time. And then all of a sudden he got to that 31, 32. It's like, he's really good, but he's not what he used to be.
Well, and the injury part of this is something that I think every Titans fan gets kind of thrown off with to begin with because of how many injuries the team has had. And I think that's where another question is, especially with the Titans. The fact that last year you had 91. I think this year was, 86 players that the Titans eventually played throughout the entire season. But you've had a lot of players become injured. Does that kind of stray you away from going, all right, this 32-year-old or this 31-year-old, what you were talking about with the body of art, like Peters, for instance, he was great that first game. But then he started dealing with the injuries again. And here we go, another guy that's got injuries. Does that make you want to go, okay, let's go younger just so that we can stay healthy and make sure that our players stay on the field? Because I don't care how good they are if they're not staying on the field.
Right. Well, let's talk about when you sign an older player. You brought him off the couch at the end of a season. So you were already doomed from jump. So that tells me you were in desperation mode when you signed him. So that's a little different than if you sign him at the beginning of the season. His role is you're going to be a backup. Somebody gets injured, so he's gone through training camp, knows your system. He's in top-notch shape. Not to say he can't get hurt, but most offensive linemen, unless you get rolled up on, are pretty durable most of the time. Just coincidental, the Titans guys haven't been, but theoretically, most of those guys are pretty durable. So that was a high-risk, high-reward guy that you knew could come in and play right away. So I wouldn't have, in their situation, I might have done the same thing. But looking at it from beginning to end, I think I would be interested in some guy, but not as a starter. Not none of the guys you mentioned. They were high-level players at the beginning, but the injuries or what have you, maybe their play went down drastically or they got exposed about something that they do out there. None of those guys interest me at all. None of the 32 and up. No, none of them for me.
On the Zone TV chat we've got going on, M. Sanders says that we need to take the best wide receiver that we can at 11. Otherwise, we need to trade out and to pick up another pick on that one. He thinks wide receiver to add speed, which I assume that when anybody says wide receiver, that's the reason why they're saying wide receiver is you want a deep ball threat. Is because you're not just going to want another guy that can catch the ball between 10 and 20 yards. You want a guy that can open the field up, right?
Yeah. I mean, let me go back to my philosophy about receivers. First of all, you don't have to be fast just to beat people deep. Let's get that out straight. Most of the guys in the league, Derek Mason wasn't fast. Let's just use him as an example. When we're talking about burner 4.3, and he's the best tight end, a receiver in Titans history right now, as of today. He sure beat people deep though, all the time. See, so don't let the numbers fool you. It's all about route running and setting up the guy. Now, do you have speed? Yeah. Okay, so let's go. Jalen Hyatt, let's drive him. He's fast. Well, what if he gets in the league, all of a sudden somebody's in front of his face and that guy's just as fast as him and just as athletic? Now he's not getting off the jam. He can't get off the jam. So his speed is irrelevant. So I think when you're talking about a receiver and speed, you must put in there, they must be able to be quick off the line. You must be able to be a polished route runner. And then everybody is fast in the league. When I go into a game, I'm not saying, oh, man, now there's always exceptions to the rule, but some guy was super fast like Randy Moss. But how many Randy Mosses are there? There was other guys that were really fast that play receiver. So I don't think that's the prerequisite for me personally when I'm scouting someone is that they need speed. And I know Vrabel said that they need more speed. And he was talking about all positions. And I would pretty much agree with that. I think you want all your receivers to all be different. So you want the sharp, quick, darty guy, playmaker. You want the speed guy. You want the route runner. And then hopefully throughout that whole process, then you're finding people who can get deep without saying he's some blazer. Because when you're playing some guy that's just fast, you're just playing for his speed. He has to also be able to run routes. Like if he can't run routes, there's a lot of fast guys that can't run routes. You go, well, dang, he's easy to read to run his routes because he doesn't understand how to tempo his speed. So for me, just getting someone fast and at 11, I don't even like this, and this is hard for me to say. I don't think this draft is anywhere comparable to the last 3 drafts as far as receivers. Yeah, and you can go ask the people at the Senior Bowl. What was the best group? Is it receivers? Nope, tight ends. See, so when they start sitting there, you start then changing how you're going about your process of how you're trying to get or accumulate positions, and you have to make decisions based on that. So they may be able to get an elite level tight end, receiver. I keep saying tight end, receiver. But this team is built around Vrabel and being physical in the trenches. So that's much more important than wide receiver. I'm just going to say that right there. You can't block. You can't throw the ball deep to the guy, as we all saw all season. Yeah. So as much as they do need some form of a deep threat, I still have to, and it's boring, and I'm a skill guy, but go for that lineman. You got to get that lineman.
Well, it's funny you kept messing up and saying tight end instead of wide receiver. In some of the mock drafts, they do have the Titans taking a tight end at 11.
Oh, I'm not. There's no tight end to me that in this draft that's 11. Yeah. There's none. There's none to me. Guess what? There's one coming out next year from Georgia.
Yes.
Yeah. You take him 11. You take game changers and playmakers at 11 when you're talking about tight end. You don't take a chain mover guy at 11. I haven't recalled any tight end that's coming out this year that is worthy of 11. That's like dynamic playmaker type guy. Like what was the kid from Florida a couple years ago? The tight end, Pittman or
yes. You're talking about the one that's with Atlanta
right?
Pitts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Pitts. Yes. Right. Yeah. See, so that's dynamic. There's nobody that looks like that. I'm not taking him in the first round. Not for tight end. Certain positions have value. And unless he's elite, do you take him in the first round? That means if he's an elite tight end, he's the number one. A unicorn like this year, there's nobody like him. You take pass rushers, pass blockers, corners, and now receivers, besides quarterback, that you take high in the draft like that. You can't take those other positions. Other positions you can just fill in. Center, guard, D-tackle, not unless they're a unicorn, like my man Big Jeff.
Yeah. 615-737-1045. Before we head to break, let's head out to Kingsport. Josh, welcome into Blaine and Mickey.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing well, man. What are you up to today?
I'm fixing to go to work. I'm a first-time listener, too. I love what I'm hearing so far.
Thanks.
Well, thank you.
What do you think the Titans should do, man?
I'd rather, instead of going blind in the draft, I'd rather have somebody I know my money's going to. Just because they're not renewed contract or anything like that don't mean they're washed up. I mean, they're still good players.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of going blind, in the draft, you don't know what you're getting. They can come out, start the first game, and get hurt, and then you got all that money tied up for nothing.
All right. Okay. Thanks for that, Josh. We appreciate it, man.
I didn't hear all of them. Did you hear
Well, what he was saying is I think that he likes the idea of going to free agents for getting a player instead of going to the draft.
Proven commodity.
Proven commodity. Mm-hmm. It's the same reason why in college football the transfer portal has become so big, because you think this 5-star can do something in the SEC, but this guy that's transferring from, even Vanderbilt, because a player from Vanderbilt transferred to Alabama last year. Right. Like, what he can do in the SEC, so I know what I'm getting from him.
No,
that's what
I
Josh
agree.
was saying.
I actually agree with that philosophy, But that doesn't, you can't just say, put yourself in a box and say, well, this year's draft is horrible at wide receivers and you need a wide receiver. So you're going to, what I talk about, force still taking a wide receiver at 11. Well, if this year's not a good draft for first round picks at 11 for wide receivers, don't take that position. Then go look for a trade or a proven commodity or your free agent signing that you do like and you know exactly what they can do instead of taking a roll the dice on. So they rank every position group every year. And so every draft has a strength and a weakness. And this year's weakness is wide receivers as far as top heavy. Top heavy, not like hasn't been over the last 2 or 3 years. They've been top heavy all over the place. So you say, well, then we may not want to take that in the draft. We may want to look in free agency. So I'm real big on that. You got to evaluate what year's draft you're coming out and what's the strength and weaknesses of each draft, as well as free agency. So that's kind of how you make your decisions. Doesn't always work out perfectly for you, but that's why people make mistakes. Being a GM is tough, especially drafting, because you have no idea how the guy's going. And they're taking guys that meet measurables, and sometimes their production in college isn't the same. It could be low and they do great in the pros because they meet all these measurables and evaluations that they think, just like Will Levis. They're saying he could possibly be the number 1 pick. Well, we all saw him. He looks great. He's got a big arm. He can run, make all the throws. But why did he throw so many picks?
Right.
So maybe they say, well, we can coach that out of him. That was more coaching than anything else, or he just believes he can stick it in there wherever. Just like Josh Allen. Oh, he can't be accurate. Well, all of a sudden, good coaching, him working on the offseason, he became a really accurate quarterback and one of the best in the league. So you just never know. It's a hit or miss. It's no right or wrong way, but you better make sure when it's his first year. This is a critical year, not only for Rand, but also for Vrabel, because you want to make sure you hit on all those top picks because they have to contribute right away.
615-737-1045. You can also shoot us a tweet at Blaine and Mickey. Zone TV chat is going as well. Alvin's going to be our first one up when we come back here on 104.5 The Zone. Wrapping up Blaine and Mickey on this President's Day, 104.5 The Zone. 615-737-1045 gets you in on Blaine and Mickey as we got a little bit of time before we hand it off 3HL. What's that? Ooh,
I saw on the chat, man. Yeah, I love Marvin Harrison Jr. at 11, but unfortunately, he can't come out this year.
No.
Somebody told me that because I wanted the Titans to draft. They said, I don't think he can come out this year. I said, you sure? They was like, I am sure. I would take him at 11. He cannot come out this year. Am I right on that?
No, I believe you are because I believe he is a true sophomore.
Yeah.
He's a true sophomore.
Yeah.
If he was in this class, he would probably be the number one wide receiver.
Yep, he would be.
He's a true sophomore. He's a sophomore this year. 2021, he had 139 yards receiving on 11 receptions. And then 2022, 77 receptions for 1,263 yards and 14
He's
touchdowns.
got it all. He's got the trifecta. He's got the size. He's got the speed. And he's got the route running. And by the way, let's not mention what his name is. So, yeah he's got 4.
You could just
he hits all the buttons for me.
It can erase some of the bad memories. Okay, if you get the sun, then let the sun erase some.
There are no bad memories for me.
No, not for you. No, not for you. Okay, just every other team after you. Okay.
No, Marvin was pretty fast. I was making sure I was not getting in a foot race with him. Let's make sure of that.
If we're talking about wide receivers, M. Sanders says that either Jordan Addison from USC. Or
Addison,
Addison or Quentin Johnston, which Quentin Johnston is getting a lot of people. There have been a lot of
that's the TCU guy, right?
Yep, TCU guy. A lot of Titans fans have voiced their opinion on wanting to draft him.
I bet the Titans like his size and his speed ratio. There's certain things I've watched him. There's sometimes I really love him, and then there's other times I don't like him.
Yeah.
And that's because I don't think he's good he's not a good polished route runner. I think he's very athletic. I think he has great size. He has speed. He doesn't catch the ball all the time with his hands, especially high pointing, being a tall guy. I don't understand why he would do it sometimes and sometimes he wouldn't. So they're just questions. He's going to be a good talent. I just, man, if he's the best, man, there's a receiver core here this year. I was just going to be okay. I think he's going to be a good pro player. Yeah. I don't think he's going to be a great player.
Well, Sherman on Twitter commented in at Blaine and Mickey saying Michael Mayer, the tight end from Notre Dame, is the one that is getting a lot of love about possibly the Titans picking him at 11 if they were for some reason to draft a tight end.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to take a tight end at 11. Actually, I don't. You can get – here's my whole thing with tight ends. You can get solid tight ends through free agency and not giving up a whole bunch of money, even though I want the Titans to sign Hayden Hurst. That's who I want the Titans to sign. I think he's a jack of all trades. He's really good at run blocking, pass receiving, all of it. Fullback, split out wide. He can do it all. I think that's the guy they need. And then you can have complementary pieces as far as tight ends at 2 and 3 with him, which you got Chig and then whoever else you want to have if you don't have Swain. So that's the guy I like in free agency, even though you're going to have to probably give him about $7-8 million. I think
Hayden Hurst last year made $3.5 million for Cincinnati.
I like him. I think you can get him for $7 million. All you got to do is go watch a video of how he earholed Dupree and depleted him, and that's all I need. Because guess what? I want that dude on my team. Yeah, unfortunately, I hate that he got Dupree. He act like it was personal, like he hit this guy and tried to actually annihilate him. And it's hard for me to say that I've ever seen somebody get hit like that. So it made me think it was personal and that Dupree got him when he was with the Bengals, and then he was with the Steelers, and it got that rivalries on that kind of level, and he hit him like that. I mean, he hit him dead in the jaw. Yeah,
he remembered it.
He
for
went
all
and
time.
got him. And he got him, and I'm like, whoa. I trust all of us being got this played, so I got my fair share, and that was payback. I mean, he took his soul.
Let's stay here in Nashville, 615-737-1045. Alvin, welcome into Blaine and Mickey.
That's embarrassing when they were watching that film.
What's going on, bro?
Hey, I don't make a lot of Titan fans, man, but have y'all ever thought about just keep trading back, even if you have to trade out of the first round?
Mm-hmm.
Because I've been listening to a lot of former GM analysts. They're saying that there's nobody there taking the first round. So just keep trading back. I mean, you ain't got nobody that's explosive you can take in the draft. And another thing, why do we keep talking about keeping Ryan Tannehill? I mean, the Super Bowl window is closed. I mean, what are we keeping him for? Just to give them free money, I'll hang up and listen.
Maybe.
Thanks, Alvin. Would it be asinine to think that Titans should trade out of the first round because of that? To trade back, get more picks in the second round, but also get veteran talent from around the NFL?
Here's what I can say about that. I would trade back in the first round and pick up 2 first-round later picks. So I have 2 first-round. Trading out, they just need too much. It's just too much. Not unless you're going to get something that's really vital. I just think I got to have a first-round pick. I want 2 first-round picks. If someone wants to trade up at 11 and give me, some, collateral, yeah, maybe I'll get a 1 and another 3 or something, but I'm not trading out. I trade down in the first round. I'm not trading out. At Tannehill, he's just a good quarterback at this point in time.
Look, something's got to happen with him. I mean, and most likely it's a reconstruction because as many free agent signings as we think that the Titans could make, they can't make any if they're over the cap limit. So,
well, I don't know too much about quarterbacks. I said I would go with Darnold and Dobbs next year. That's what I would do. People laughing at me, but that's okay. I'm gonna stick with that because I'm in rebuild mode and not retool like the Titans.
It's true. You have said that.